The qualifying for the 2024 Canada Grand Prix was incredibly exciting. The tension lasted until the very end, with George Russell and world champion Max Verstappen finishing with identical times. That's right, they completed their laps at exactly the same time. However, the driver who sets the time first gets the top spot. This means George Russell secured pole position for only the second time in his career. Mercedes has been showing improvements, starting with their new front wing in Monaco. By the third free practice session in Canada, it was clear that the Mercedes car was performing very well. The new front wing is a significant update, featuring a completely different design and philosophy from its predecessor. This has helped Mercedes address some of their issues. Russell mentioned that they struggled with oversteering in 2023, but this season they had problems with understeering, and the updates have been aimed at fixing these issues. The new front wing on the car is much steeper, which apparently gives it more downforce. This is something even someone without much technical knowledge can understand, although it is a simplified explanation. The front wing doesn't work by itself. There were also other changes. The nose of the car was adjusted too. These changes needed to be made because the nose and front wing affect each other. Additionally, updates were made to the underbody, specifically in the Venturi channel at the inlet. All these elements work together. That's why the Mercedes car seems to be performing better now. Because of these updates, Mercedes was not too surprised by the improvement. They expected it with the changes they made. We'll discuss Lewis Hamilton's opinion later. Interestingly, he had a slightly different view. This is part of the reason why people have confidence in Mercedes' performance. Yes, this is a big moment. You're not sure why, but it feels different. George Russell got his first pole position in Hungary in 2022. Even back then, people thought it was a significant change. Recently, turning points have happened quite often at Mercedes, so I'm not fully convinced yet. Still, for now, it's amazing that Russell is on pole. It wasn't easy for him, though. In the third practice session, he was clearly behind his teammate Lewis Hamilton. After this practice, Russell studied Hamilton's data and saw areas where he could improve. He noticed that he had problems in turns 1 and 2, so he changed his driving style for those corners. This adjustment helped him secure the pole position in the end. Even in the qualification, things weren't easy for him. During Q2, he almost lost control. He had a close call, but then set the best time of the qualification. He couldn't repeat that performance in Q3. Initially, like all drivers, he was on worn soft tires due to limited tire supply. On his second attempt with fresh tires, he didn't improve. It was a thrilling qualification session at the top. Then Max Verstappen made his attempt and didn't quite succeed. And what about Lewis Hamilton? In the third free practice, he seemed the strongest, leading Verstappen and Russell by 0.4 seconds. He is known as a qualifying specialist, especially in Canada, but in the end, he finished in 7th place. In his 9th Grand Prix this season, he faced his 8th qualifying defeat. He mentioned that he suddenly lost half a second during qualification because the car lost grip, and he couldn't figure out why since he hadn't changed anything on the vehicle or its setup. Lewis Hamilton, clearly upset and angry, gave only a brief 26-second interview to the TV crew from Formula One. The situation was very frustrating for him. Unlike Hamilton, who was very upset, a former world champion analyzed the data calmly. The data revealed that during Hamilton's faster lap in Q3, he encountered a problem. Up until that point, he was nearly matching Russell's pace. The issue occurred at turn 10, which significantly affected his performance. As he continued down the long straight to the final chicane, he lost an additional 0.3 seconds. Those crucial 0.3 seconds cost him dearly. He couldn't improve his lap times. Russell and Hamilton both had enough time for the pole position. Those 0.3 seconds pushed him back 6 places, making him start 7th, which was a tough break. It was also a harsh situation for Ferrari during qualification, who were the favorites coming into the race weekend. Ferrari seemed to be doing well, but when it was dry, they struggled. Friday's practice was both rainy and dry, and Ferrari felt confident. However, Saturday was mostly dry with slight drizzles, but nothing major. Ferrari fell behind from the third practice onwards. In the qualification, Charles Leclerc finished 11th and Carlos Sainz 12th. And why is this? They are totally helpless, unlike Lewis Hamilton. One didn't notice any mistakes. The data was checked and they are losing everywhere. It's not just mistakes or a pattern. They simply lack grip everywhere. Ferrari hopes it's because the tire didn't reach the right temperature. But regarding strategy, the old Ferrari issue came up again. This was evident in the qualifying round. It wasn't done perfectly. In Q2, both drivers were eliminated. Ferrari, like McLaren, used old soft tires for their second attempt, while most other teams, except Kevin Magnussen, used new soft tires. Ferrari aimed to improve in the second try. Leclerc did better than his first attempt, but still not enough. Other drivers improved after their first try. Even with new tires, Ferrari remained in 5th and 8th positions, which wasn't shocking considering the large gap to Mercedes. But with new tires, they had a shot at making it into Q3, which was a new chance. In some ways, Ferrari seemed at a loss, and in others, they were over-strategizing. This was a different approach, not like the typical strategy mistakes seen before. Ferrari claimed they took a risk, and that risk paid off. In this case, it didn't help, but you still have hope for the race. Why? Firstly, because of the qualification. Secondly, because of the graining. We didn't see much graining during the race. However, in the third free practice, long runs showed the tires struggling with graining. In recent F1 history, Ferrari has been reliable. Last year, Carlos Sainz won the Melbourne Grand Prix. Also, in Las Vegas last year, Ferrari performed well. The weather gives Ferrari a big hope too. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.